So Angel has really kindly agreed to let us see her chart. And we are talking about big challenges today and how that might be reflected in her soul contract. So we're just going to go and get stuck on straight away. So I'm going to share my screen. Perfect, it's already up. So, Angel, born Angelina Rosemary Cole. Okay, so just as a reminder, the letters of your birth name create the sound, which is the frequency that goes out into the world, like energy that creates your reality. And what we've done is we've taken the letters of your name, we've translated them into ancient Hebrew, beautiful spiritual alphabet. And each of those letters corresponds to a number. And these are the numbers we map onto your chart. Now, what we have is, and you haven't had a full reading before, so I'll just do a little reminder. We've got two triangles, the physical and the spiritual, and each one sort of plays a different role. The physical points to the earth plane and the spiritual points to the heavens. And the physical energies in the soul contract normally come through slightly earlier in life. These are these ones here. And then the spiritual ones come online. But to be honest, from my experience, they all just intermingle all the time. So I don't see so much of a separation sometimes, but sometimes you do. And what we have is we've got your karma, your talents, and your goals. And your karma is what you find challenging, which is the theme of our discussion today.
Excuse me a minute.
No worries. The talents.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. The talents are what you're really good at, what you're really here to bring out of hiding and bring out so that the world can see them, so you can share them and expand upon them. And your goals are what you're really here to do. And the goals can be a little bit karmic. They can be a little bit challenging because they're like, you really want to go here? You're going to have to work for it. Which is the theme. So, Angel, before we jumped on the call, you said, there's just so much traumatic, deeply challenging energies going on in my life. And I wanted to focus on where those energies were really sitting. And the first place I'm going to look at are the physical goals of the 11-2. Now, the 11-2s, if you have these in your chart, we call you the emotional processing unit of the family. It's the EPU. And what happens is everything comes down into this person who is the link breaker for all of their ancestral, spiritual lineage. And it can carry a lot of trauma, this number, and create hypersensitivity in the body, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually.
Wow.
But
that is so cool.
Yeah. But you know what's really interesting with this number is these people are so gentle and so sensitive. It's a very protective maternal and paternal energy. So even though you're dealing with all of this stuff, and it's all about transformation, the energy is death to life. This is the polarity lesson in this. It's the transformation that comes from all of the challenges. And what you become is a beautiful space holder for others. This is the spring of resilience, the symbol. You bring people in and you buffer them from the shocks of life.
I recognise that completely.
Yeah, but it's a very, very sensitive number. And the other sensitive number you have in your chart, which is related to this, are the 7s. Now, when we talk about sevens, no matter whether it's in a karmic or talent or goal position, the energies are still going to be very, very strong. And the 7s are all about healing the heart wound and coming into your full, authentic integration of who you truly are. So I always ask people, was there a deep wounding when you were younger where the heart was wounded or broken?
How many times can I express that over and over again? Yes, total betrayal.
Yes.
And abandonment and neglect and abuse. and
Yeah.
not being seen, felt, cared about,
Yeah.
and judged. And
Mm.
living with 5 different sets of people before I was 13, I had no idea who I was in the midst of all of this absolute chaos.
So who were you, Angel? It's because of all this wounding that happened to the heart. People with sevens retreat into themselves. They can be
Mm,
very shy, and the other energy, which is very shy, the threes, we can go very inward and become very controlling of what we show others because we're so scared of those vulnerable parts of us being hurt again.
yeah.
The lovely thing about the sevens is that you are a catalyst for others. You are a person who comes into the fullness of themselves and becomes a beautiful liaison between source energy and those people asking, well, who am I? You know, how can I come home to myself? And you are the experience of it. You are the walking, talking, living, breathing expression of it.
Absolutely. I feel that every day.
Yeah.
Yes, because there's, except for murder, I don't think there's very much in my life that I have not experienced.
Yeah, and I'll tell you where all of that is coming from as well. So apart from the 11-2 angel, you have got this big 9-9 in here. Now, nines are very, very powerful, but on the other end of the spectrum, they're very disempowering. We have to go through disempowerment to come back into our power. And nines are usually around a betrayal. So we are betrayed by, it could be a parent figure, it could be God, it could be anyone who is close to us who we trusted. And nines are all about getting your power back. And the other number that is in your soul destiny, and when the number's in your soul destiny, it carries very strong energy. And the 10-1 is all about overcoming disempowerment. And it's a high frequency number. And often people with high frequency numbers in their charts can have a real tough time on Earth. It's a real challenging place for them. They can feel very lonely. You can really feel like you don't fit in. And
Yeah.
yeah, very, very tough.
I
Tough
don't
vibration.
understand why people are so uncaring, cruel,
Yeah,
and deliberately hurt each other. It breaks my heart. Just even thinking about it makes me feel tearful. I don't
yeah.
understand. And
It's
for
the
years, didn't
yeah,
want to be here because I just couldn't get, why would you bother?
yeah. It's because we come to Earth, and Earth is a school of learning deep, deeply painful things, such as how to be with people, relationships, love. We're in such a dense, and I know you already know this, we're in such a dense 3D reality, and we have fallen so far from this 12th dimension of love, of pure source, God energy. So we're just so far away from it, which is why Earth can feel so low frequency
Yeah.
because we're not used to it. And the other thing that's a really big telltale sign of the hardships that you've endured, and you have endured them, Angel, because you're sitting in front of me, whole, complete, living, breathing, you have endured. And it's these very strong 21 threes. Now, 21 threes are like a gateway energy, and they are put in your soul contract as an invitation for you to walk through as a test to say, look, we're going to challenge you in this lifetime. Are you ready? Are you ready for the next lifetime? Because the final number in the soul contract sequence is the 22-4, which is this completion, it's this everything. And the 21-3 is an invitation to come into this energy. And the 21-3 is about endurance. It's about overcoming hardship. It's about strength. So would you say, out of everything that you've come through and gone through, do you feel strong? Do you feel like you have that powerful, strong endurance within you?
I do in my spiritual self, I do in my knowing, in
Mm,
my physicality because of physical challenges. I don't feel it there. I mean, you're talking about 21-3 and having it twice. To say I've been challenged is like the biggest understatement. And physicality, I've been so challenged. The
yeah.
memory and focus and my processing unit doesn't work properly, has never worked properly.
Mm,
And every time I've started to develop, it makes me lose confidence because I can't keep up with everybody else. So and I can be challenged over and over again, but I always feel like I'm capped. I'm physically,
mm,
etherically, sorry, capped. I feel it like a cap that
yeah.
I can't break through.
Yeah.
Um, really, and that's what I was going to talk to you about today. This cap that I feel, it was identified in a healing session. Someone who's
Mm,
working on me said, "How do you feel?" I said, "I can actually see, feel, know this cap
yeah.
that is stopping me from every time I reach a certain level. It's like it's all cut off, and I go into a funny. It's like I wake up and it's gone from me, and I have to work through it all again."
So when we've gone through a lot of trauma, it can really fry us. And it
Yeah,
sounds like from a very young age, you went through a huge amount.
yeah,
You said before the age of 13, moving around and everything else that happened in between. That can have a very big effect on the body, very,
mm,
very big effect on the memory, on the mind. And especially with the 11 twos can really struggle to operate and work the same way as other people. And it's like they're very good at learning some things and find it really hard to learn other things. So this is a healing journey for you, and you already know that this lifetime is a very deep healing journey.
mm.
But I feel for you that the more you release and clear, and in divine healing too, you would have done that lovely deep shock and release trauma,
Oh,
shock and trauma release chart. Hmm.
I was back on it again yesterday.
Yeah,
Massive. Um,
yeah,
I had a really, really dreadful. I've had several really, really bad hospital happenings. One was the birth of my twins, and the one that Nicholas worked with me the other day, and that was mega because it was like a horror story, but it actually happened to me, and I worked through that. And yesterday, I worked through the twins' birth.
yes. So as Nicholas would have said, trauma gets locked and stored in the body, and it can
Yeah.
cause a little bit of chaos. So this
Mm.
is a trauma release healing, which is, I feel like your focus, because I feel like the more you do that, because what happens when we have threes, and I know you've done a lot already, but
Yeah.
threes can store a lot. And it's a master number, so it's very strong. Threes can sort of share who they are up here, but this is the depth of them. And it's like a frozen depth with it. And I've got two threes in my soul contract as well. So I know this energy, one's in my soul destiny. Threes can be very emotionally numb. They can just block and store and shove stuff down, and they just will keep it down there. And it's about the gentle thawing. And I know you've done a lot of healing work, but it's
Oh,
just a deeper invitation. Go deeper, angel. You can go deeper. You have the tools, you have the support, you have the courage. And the deeper you go, and just so you know, the sevens can be very reluctant to go deep because at their core, and I don't know if this resonated with me, but it took me a long time to feel this. At their core, sevens can feel like terrible people, almost like this deep, deep shame of existing.
I
And
had that for years. Yeah.
yes, it's a very dark shadow. And so that shadow work will really come into play
Yeah.
here. It's feeling deserving of being well, feeling deserving of feeling physically vibrant. And you can achieve all of that. I know you can.
I've done loads of work with the shadow. You talk about the sevens. I've got 3 sevens in my birthday, 27th of the 7th, 1957. And I used to say, oh, I'm 7 by the power of 3. So I was fascinated with that.
Yeah.
But I have done that. I have reached into the shadow. I felt it like sacks on my back and gone, okay, I am sick of being ashamed or afraid or all the rest of the story about this thing. And I pulled it out and I
Yeah.
pulled it to pieces and I
Beautiful.
looked at it.
Yeah.
And then when it's come back up again, I thought, oh, I've dealt with this. No, I haven't.
Yep.
The next
Layers and
level,
layers.
and I go, oh, because that's when you realise that sometimes the complicit behaviour that we've had when we are damaged, when we are young, when we don't know better, and that can lead to another lot of judgment, or it can lead to another lot of, okay, well, I need to look at that then.
And also, Angel, the other thing I was going to say is that with healing, the physical level is always the last to change. Spiritual up here, and then emotional, and then physical. We have a spiritual tension. It leads into an emotional program, and it leads into a physical symptom. So the physical body will always be, because it's the densest vibration, the last place for things to change. So be patient with yourself. Okay.
Yeah.